Well, 15 years after the end of one of Africa's longest wars, Angola remains one of the most heavily mined countries in the world. The Mines Advisory Group, MAG, helps keep people safe from landmines and exploded ordnance. This allows communities to grow more food, make better living, access health care. It also gives children the chance to walk to school in safety. Now, the Mines Advisory Group has been operating in Angola, where large parts of the country still remain littered with mines. To tell us more about MAG's work, I'm joined in studio by Mines Advisory Group International Chief Executive Officer Jane Calking. Welcome to Africa 54.
Hello.
So we keep talking still about Angola and mines, but it takes us back to the memory of actually Princess Diana. Will remember walking through the landmines, or rather the fields of Angola. Tell us about first the significance of this 20 years later.
Well, of course, as you say, many viewers will remember 20 years ago this year, Princess Diana really highlighted the issue of landmines in Angola and brought the world's attention to it. And this year, MAG, together with Prince Harry, her son, have been really working hard to raise public awareness that the problem has not gone away. Because I think quite a few people think this is a 1990s issue, this is something that's been dealt with, and there has been a great amount of progress. Over 40 years of war in Angola, between 10 and 20 million landmines were laid, and 89,000 people have been injured, maimed, or killed by these terrible devices. And now, in 2017, we are 56% of the way to clearing the problem altogether, but there's still a long way to go, and MAG and our partner organisations in Angola are really keen that we remind people of that.
And despite the fact that hundreds of them are removed every day, just share with us a little bit about how complicated it is to just remove one mine.
Oh, I am lost in awe at my colleagues who work on this day in, day out, because quite often, I mean, this weapon is indiscriminate, and that is the worst thing about it. It can't tell the difference between a woman walking to a well to draw water and an active combatant. And that means when you set out to clear a minefield, there can be a huge area where landmines are laid, scattered across it. So you have to mark out the area that is possibly contaminated really, really carefully, and then painstakingly make your way across it with a specialised mine detector. And then when you pick up where there might be a mine, then very, very gently remove it so that it is not, it is no longer a problem. And I'm always struck when I visit MAG's minefield operations that at the end of the day, we detonate what we found, and something that was a big problem when people got up in the morning has gone for good. Mm-hmm.
And it's actually like going to war, because you might not come back alive. But looking at how many years have passed since these landmines were put on Earth, under the Earth, would you say that also a major contributing factor for the slowness of the response of the world is that most of these mines were actually planted or buried in mostly rural areas where mostly the poor people live, the small farmers? Is that perhaps a reason?
I'm sure that's got a lot to do with it. I mean, just to say, we have very strict procedures for where we work, and being a MAG deminer is a very safe occupation, and people follow the rules. But to come back to the poor people in rural areas, I'm sure that has got a lot to do with it. And in fact, in recent years, that's become an even more significant factor, because as you will be aware, in 2014, the economy in Angola collapsed. And what's happened since then is so many people have moved back from the cities to rural areas to cultivate crops, to live off the land. And so minefields, which may not have been such a big problem when people were, doing labour in the cities and so on, are now even more critical. And that's why we are saying, look, we really have to have the support to get on with this job.
And talking about support, quickly tell us, the support has to come in also in terms of funding. Tell us about your funding appeals.
It does, and I think it has to be said that in the last few years, as attention has waned, then so has funding. So MAG has launched an appeal called Walk Without Fear, which is what everybody has a right to do, and we are inviting people to contribute to that, and we are inviting governments, rich governments across the world, also to make funding available to Angola so that people can walk without fear wherever they are.
Just hope they don't forget. People should never forget that the mines are still a danger to millions of people.
Absolutely.
Ms. Cocking, thank you very much for coming on and sharing with us that information.